Sales Rep Radio.
Hi, everybody. This is Dan Walker, and this is Sales Rep Radio, a presentation of timeless sales tips and best practices from some of the world's most talented sales consultants. It's news from your world, and it starts right now.
Hot tips, Sales Rep Radio.
You can't believe this guy's resume. Check this out. At the tender young age of 22, he was the number one sales rep in a sales force of 11,000. Wow! That company, by the way, was Xerox. Now, the obvious question for most of us is, how'd he do it? Let's see if we can find out. Hal Becker has graduated to a very successful career as a speaker, author, and trainer, and we're going to pick his brain. Hal Becker, welcome into Sales Rep Radio.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Hal, you speak on a myriad of topics, but the one that really grabbed our attention is the 6 things we must know forever. Tell us about that.
Okay. Well, it's funny, when you say myriad of topics, I'm a sales trainer. You know, sales is sales is sales. And the 6 things I'm going to tell you, I don't have an original idea in my head. This stuff has been around for 70, 80, 100 years. In fact, the guy that I researched all my stuff from is Dale Carnegie, 1936, How to Win Friends, Influence People. And everything comes down to find out what people want. So here's the deal. You and I were talking before. Most salespeople, and I'm going to give you a Cleveland, Ohio term, suck. And the reason being, they don't practice their craft. They don't look at it as a profession. They go, well, I like people. I'm going to go out and sell. Most salespeople never take a course, especially with their own money. Never read a book cover to cover. CD rounds, your program, everything. So there's 6 basic ingredients that make the best of the best. And I don't know how many salespeople you've talked to, and I'm sure a ton, but I've seen so few real professionals in my life. And here's what the pros hold, which is less than 3% of all the millions of salespeople out there.
Only 3%? Let's see if we can't move that needle, Hal. Where do we start?
First one is organized. Great salespeople are highly organized. For example, if I tell you I'm going to call you, you got to call the person. Even if things come up, if I say, hey, I'm going to give you a call at 4 o'clock today, and you don't have the answer, you call the person. It's called common courtesy. In today's internet world, with so much information coming at us in so many directions of voicemail, email, and cell phones, and you got to keep your word. So you got to write everything down. And I don't know, when you hit 40, trust me on this, when you walk in the kitchen and then you go in the family room, you get in the family room, you go, what am I doing here? And you forget why you walked there. Just write everything down. Now, people say, what kind of system should I have? I don't care the kind you're going to use. Write everything down to stay in touch with existing customers and new business prospects, etc. Simple.
And then there are the guys like me who will maybe write it down, but then forget to look at it.
Then they should wear a little helmet and get on a little yellow bus. You know, if you're going to write it down, look at it.
Gotcha. And that's super important when it comes to returning calls. We've all been on the receiving end of that broken promise.
Call any business, and they say, well, I'll get back to you at the end of the day. Before I hang up the phone, I'm going, yeah, right. People don't keep their word anymore. That builds trust. Trust builds relationships. You got to be organized. And even going food shopping. You go to the grocery store or Sam's Club without a list, you're spending $1,000.
Well, you're right about that. Okay, what's number 2?
Being aggressive or assertive. Now, what this means is not beating people up. It means the numbers game. And it's real simple. I call it like a workout or a diet. If someone's thin and they don't have a metabolism problem, they're thin because they work at it. I don't know anybody that goes, you know what I want to do today? I want to go out and make some cold calls. Yeah, I want to be rejected, dejected, treated like dirt, talked down to, told no. No one likes doing this, but you got to do it. Because all sales comes down to is customers you got and customers you don't got. The ones you don't got, you get. The ones you got, you suck up to. And the reason you asked me, why is my business all referral? It's such a simple answer. I stay in touch with my client base. Whatever city I am in, I put in that city, I see 3, 4, 5, 8 clients, whatever it is, I call and leave voicemails just to say hi. Out of sight, out of mind. So the aggressiveness means a numbers game. How many miles you're going to run, how many calories you're going to eat, how many sit-ups you're going to do. Everyday consistency, not a burnout.
We're well on our way, Hal. Number 3.
Number 3, it's the big one. Can't teach this. Honesty. Everybody says they're honest. If everybody was honest, there wouldn't be a TV show called Cops. Okay? We are all liars. We lie to our kids when they're born about Santa Claus. We continue to lie. I learned something from my parents. I was lucky. Came from a functional family. And both my parents taught me to be honest, and I'm too stupid to lie. Because you lie, you got to remember what you said. If you tell the truth, it's real easy. And the reason salespeople have a lousy reputation, because they stretch or embellish the truth. Just tell the truth all the time.
Well, that seems like it should be the most important trait.
And the one that no one does. Because it's too easy to lie. I mean, everybody does it. So just tell the truth.
Okay, Hal, what do you got up your sleeve for number 4?
Product. Learn your product. Learn it inside and out. I learned this as a kid when I was at Xerox. If you're going to be the doctor of what you're selling, in other words, when I go somewhere, if I'm going to buy a plasma TV, I don't want to know more than the salesperson or buy a digital camera or a car. I want them to take charge. I don't tell my doctor, all right, listen, here's how you can do the surgery, okay? I want you to use this kind of scalpel, this degree cut, this is what the muscles are going to go through. I want them to take over and do their job. A great salesperson knows their product, but then they also know, which is the next one, the competition. See, the competition is not your enemy. Your competition is your best friend. Like, for instance, in Chicago, or anywhere, it doesn't matter, there's a Nordstrom. It raises the bar for all the other competition, all the other department stores, because they have to get better. Or if a Ritz-Carlton or a Four Seasons comes into town, the other hotels have to get better. So in my business, I view my competition as my friends because, oh, they got a book, I got to have another one. Oh, they're writing into articles, magazines, I got to write articles, magazines. You know, that kind of stuff. And you never knock the competition because then you just told the customer, oh, you're stupid for looking at them. So you got to know your competition, know your product, and we'll call that product knowledge.
Okay, good. We got 2 in there for the price of 1. Well, that means we're in the home stretch, Hal. What's our 6th best practice?
Work harder, not smarter. Learning your product and learning your competition is working smarter. Working harder is simply back to the aggressiveness, the numbers game. And so I have to go back a number of years ago, but what made me number 1 at Xerox as a kid at 22 years old, we had 11,000 salespeople. What made me number 1 was so simple. I learned my product, I learned my competition, but we had a quota. For instance, a goal without a plan is a wish. So instead of me doing 10 calls a day, I said, okay, what is not going to make me money? Because I'm money driven. I grew up poor, I was money motivated. What's not going to make me money? Getting up late, going home early, watching TV, golfing, swimming, shopping. What's going to make me money? More rejection. So I set a goal of 10 more calls a day, or basically 30 to 40 minutes more of rejection a day. But at the end of the month, when everybody else did their 200 calls, I did 400, and here's the big one. At the end of the year, when everybody else had 2,400 calls in, I made 4,800. So it's the consistency of working harder every day. And if you want to summarize all this into one line, which we haven't discussed, the most important thing is selling is asking, not telling, listening, not talking. Great salespeople do not do what I've been doing with you on the phone, talking. They listen, they ask questions to find out what the customer wants. And if you walk out of someone's office, you don't sell them a thing, but you know what's going on, the reason why you didn't sell them, or the reason they're happy, you did a good job.
And that's got to be our goal as sales reps. Some great advice, Hal. What do you want to say to wrap things up for us?
If anything, back in the 70s, there were a lot of great training going on. There isn't that much. We spend more time on infrastructure. We spend more time on our toys to keep us, in touch. Please, whether it's your website, whether it's going to get a CD, going to the library, getting a book for free, whatever it is, please read at least 3 to 4 books a year, go to 3 programs, something to keep furthering your education. That's the biggest problem with salespeople. They don't do anything to further themselves and take themselves to higher levels.
Hal Becker at halbecker.com. We're delighted you could stop by to help us out here on Sales Rep Radio.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
That's going to do it for now, folks. Sales Rep Radio is a production of the Marcom Store. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you again next time for another Podcast Plus edition of Sales Rep Radio.
Hot tips, Sales Rep Radio.